One epic dollar, one epic dollar, one epic dollar, one epic dollar. Mayhaps, and bear with me as we work through this together. Mayhaps there is a frog on the floor at the party that could possibly represent just, Now, bear with me. Mayhaps we have $1 million. And by the way, let's just say we're the most wanted person in the United States, which explains how we have received the $1 million, if you catch my drift. Just don't ask Jimmy exactly how we got those $1 million, but we take the $1 million and funnel it into... First off, let's get that pesky tooth removed, shall we? Because we have a pesky tooth that has been causing all sorts of problems. We get that removed, a little bit of epic ska music, trust me, it makes sense in here, and we funnel that $1 million into having an epic party. Please don't invite Jimmy to the party, but we're gonna have an epic party with a frog on the floor. And don't forget to bring Doritos and Fritos. One epic dollar. One epic dollar. One, if you understand what I mean. By having a frog on the floor, you may just be the dumbest person in the freaking world, but that doesn't matter, because the frog on the floor represents how nothing matters. Nothing freaking matters. So why not have a freaking epic party and be the most wanted person in 1,000,000 United States? And you may never understand me, but if you understand what I'm saying, take my hand, because you have entered the world into 100 gecs. And if you don't understand what a gec is, 100 gecs, 10,000 gecs, 100,000, 10,000, 100, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, frog on the floor. Why is there a frog on the floor? Let's get the review started. Let's start by taking a look at the album cover. They literally freaking farted and their shirts blew over their heads because they are literally, how do I put this? They're agents of chaos sent to us from a different universe to show us there are absolutely no limitations on the goofiness. They demonstrate they don't give a hoot about nothing by putting all sorts of various comical lyrics that don't make any sense, but they combine it with absolutely brilliant avant-garde futuristic production that combines guitars and drums. You know, maybe being a genius is actually full of chaos, but let's just start by talking about 100 gecs debut albums, 1,000 gecs. 1,000 gecs was an album that came out of freaking nowhere that combined various influences from dubstep with electronic quirkiness that almost was satirical in a way, but so freaking catchy that not even anybody could even possibly understand the magic of the tree of 100 gecs, which is now a cultural icon upon those who surf the interwebs and have appreciation for experimental, modern, contemporary, experimental electronic music. Now, that was off-putting to some, very polarizing, but there was definitely a select few that could see through the abstract, absurdist, nihilist humor and genius of 100 gecs and comprehend that this was truly an innovative twist on the contemporary form, thus forming the genre of hyperpop and funneling in a whole new sphere of influence of music and time and technology, which was ahead of its time and also 1,000 years in the past simultaneously, hence gec. What is a gec? Well, a gec is an epic thing where you have 100 gecs, 1,000 gecs, 10,000 gecs, $1 million, a frog on the floor, a tooth that needs to be removed, Doritos and Fritos, and a meme. Hence, that brings us to the second album of 100 gecs. This album was highly anticipated because how do you follow up an album like 1,000 gecs? Because 1,000 gecs went so far in an unexpected, abstract direction that how do you follow it up? Because if you try to just do something like 1,000 gecs and do it again, it's gonna lose the element of surprise, which blew us away in 1,000 gecs. So how do you get that level of abstractness? What if you combine $1,000, $1 million with a frog? Why is there a frog on the floor? For goodness sake, can someone please pick this frog up? No. We let the frog be on the floor because we are demonstrating to the world that we do not care. We do not care. What is important to us is that someone please be careful around Jimmy, for goodness sake, because Jimmy is not doing well. And hence why we are the most wanted person in the United States. The United States. One epic dollar. 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 How do you follow up an album like 1,000 gecs with the 10,000 gecs and make it 10 times better? Is that what you're trying to do? Well, 100 gecs. I salute you. You have successfully followed up the iconic classic $1,000, 1,000 gecs with 10,000 gecs, which somehow manages to successfully maintain the quality of chicken 1,000 gecs. Keep us on our toes with all sorts of wild, speculative, crazy, absurd, nihilistic plot twists in a narrative that is cohesive, but varied from the Zolo and the ska influences combined with the traditional dubstep death grips avant blah, which is expected from 100 gecs, with the impeccable humor and the catchiness. It's freaking catchy. Me. You will never understand me. It is, what do I put this? Pushing the boundaries? It's pushing the boundaries of music, pushing the boundaries of art, and frankly, just pushing the boundaries of sanity. So that's why I'm giving this album a frog out of 10. It's getting a frog out of 10. And you may say that's a cop-out. I will say this. If I know anything about 100 gecs, they would applaud me for taking the risk of giving an album a frog out of 10, because that to me is worth $1 million. Don't tell Jimmy that I love Jimmy. I am Jimmy. Jimmy has $1 million. Now get me my Doritos and Fritos and make them vegan. So I have a lot of fun listening to this album. It is an absolute blast. And let's just say I'm having as much fun as a party with a freaking frog on the floor and a freaking tooth that needs to be removed because we have $1 million and we're in a Hollywood baby and the dumbest person alive. And you will never understand me. But how do I put this? I do understand you, because I am you. Woo!